All right, Modes, I picked the topic Tuesday.
Let's do it.
All right, you scare me a little bit with that bat.
I understand.
All right, Mike Leake struggled again last night. Homer Bailey has struggled recently. At some point, the Reds will need to put together a postseason rotation. Do they have 4 starters they can count on?
Great question. I think most of us feel pretty good about the 1-2. I think we would understand why Bronson Arroyo would make a postseason rotation, but if this team is going to go deep, they're going to need 4. Now, I know what you're going to say. 09 Yankees used only 3 guys. Well, that was a seasoned CC Sabathia at the top of his game, A.J. Burnett, and the always money in October Andy Pettitte. Johnny Cueto's never gone on 3 days rest. Matt Latos has never gone on 3 days rest. And so if this team is going to play more than just 3 games in October, and I think we hope they will, they're going to need a 4th. The problem is, as evidenced by last night's start, Mike Leake hasn't been very good in the second half. His ERA since the All-Star break, 5.83. The complete game start last week against the Mets notwithstanding. And Homer Bailey, there's already questions about whether fatigue is taking a toll. He was money in the month of July, but his last 4 starts, he hasn't gotten out of the 6th inning. And these are questions that we're going to continue to ask across the final 5 to 6 weeks as the innings start to pile up for these guys. Bailey has already surpassed his career high. Leake probably will. And these are questions we're going to ask throughout the final 6 weeks of the regular season. But let's face it, this team's probably going to go to the playoffs. And if so, they're going to have to give the ball to a 4th starter. Now, on the surface, Bailey's having a better season, and Leake, because he can hit, might be a better option out of the bullpen because you have some flexibility with him. But with the way those 2 guys are throwing right now, can you imagine how you'd feel with either one of those 2 standing on the mound, starting a must-win game? Right now, I wouldn't feel all that good. And while we feel good about the Reds and optimism abounds, and let's face it, it's a lot of fun to talk about postseason rotations this early in the game, it is a question, and it is a concern, I think, for Dusty, Brian Price, and Walt Jocketty.
All right, now to a former Red.
Okay.
Adam Dunn hit his 400th homer over the weekend. Does he have a chance to make it to Cooperstown?
Well, think of it like this. Adam Dunn is still just 32 years old. He's going to be 33 this November. Reasonable chance that by the time the season's over, he's going to be sitting on 405 to 410 career homers. He's going to be 33 next year. He still has many, many home run hitting years in front of him. Remember, this is a guy who has averaged in each of his 11 full seasons more than 35 homers per year. Is it fair to expect Adam Dunn to hit that many on average across the next 2 to 3 years? I think so. And so we have a guy who looks to me like he's easily going to eclipse 500, and then it becomes a matter of, across the next 5 years after that, can he hit 20 per year? Can he hit 25 per year across the next 4? And if he surpasses 600, how much farther past 600 does he go? Does he approach 700? To me, that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Well, think of the guys who are clean, that we know of, that have hit 600 homers. Aaron, Ruth, Mays, Ken Griffey Jr., who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Jim Thome, who I think will be in the Hall of Fame as well. Then there's the tainted guys, Bonds, A-Rod, Sosa, all of whom are going to have a hard time getting in. With Adam Dunn, there's never been any questions about steroids, and 600 is such a rare number that it's going to be hard to ignore. I know he strikes out a lot, but the guy with the most amount of strikeouts ever, Reggie Jackson, in the Hall of Fame. Adam Dunn will probably surpass that. Among the top 12 guys in career strikeouts, including Tony Perez at number 12, 4 are in Cooperstown. So clearly, the voters ignore the high strikeout amounts. If you're prodigious at doing something else, Adam Dunn is prodigious at hitting homers. If he gets to 600, I think the voters are going to have a pretty tough argument against him being in the Hall of Fame. And if he goes in the Hall, there's a really good chance he'll go in with a wishbone C on his cap.
All right, one more.
Okay.
Augusta National finally admitted 2 women. Is this a great day for women's rights?
It's a great day for women who have a lot of money, who want to play golf with dudes who have a lot of money. I think some are going a little overboard with the societal impact of Condoleezza Rice and this other lady making Augusta National. I think it's great for them. I don't understand a sausage fest. Why would you want to go anywhere where there's nothing but dudes? Whether women are allowed or not, I frankly don't care. Good for them for doing it. It showed some flexibility. It showed some forward thinking. They're hardly the only golf club to be exclusive to men. There are others. But I think some are going a little too far. I've heard this called a monumental day for women's rights. No, a monumental day for women's rights is when women were allowed to vote. When they've been given equal time and pay in the workplace, and there's still a struggle in some of those regards. This is great for a select few people. I don't begrudge them that. I certainly don't begrudge anybody who's successful and makes the kind of money that grants you consideration for a place like Augusta National, and good for them for doing it. But let's stop short of calling this a momentous day, a monumental day for women's rights, because frankly, this is going to affect a very, very tiny and small amount of women. Email me, tell me what you think, mo@espn1530.com. You can send me a tweet too, @moegger1530.